because the fire escape wasn't certified. What's that mean to the owner?
He gets.
So, here's a great one. You want to write this down. This is the backup in case things are going crazy. 1910.37, OSHA. OSHA states that during repairs and alterations, employees must not occupy a workplace unless the extra rooms required by the SUP are available and the existing fire protections are maintained or until alternate protection is furnished of equivalent level of safety. What's this mean? That means that OSHA has been telling you for many, many years that when somebody's coming down to do a demo on a building and they're still gonna let people stay on the second floor, the third floor, whatever, what's the first thing that you must have? 2 means of egress. If your fire escape ain't certified, can you actually work on that building without having the second means of egress certified? So you got all these buildings in downtown, all these buildings that are being worked on, and they're all in violation of the OSHA code. So how do you do this without stopping the money train from keep on rolling? So OSHA states that you must have 2 means of egress certified. So when I'm pulling my permit, what must I show you so I can proceed with my demolition, my repairs or alterations on any building, residential or commercial? This is a step into the residential, 2 and 3 story residentials, right? Because that's where the second means of egress is going to kick in. So what's this mean? Well, I'm filling out my application to you, and what must I present as part of my permit process?
Certified copies.
Certification of the fire escape. Not having one, are you going to stop the money train there? The answer is no, because it has another piece here. It says, unless you provide alternative fire escape. So I get a fire escape, I'm working on my house, it's a 3-family, and it's got a fire escape on the back, and all of a sudden, the fire escape is going to need 50 grand worth of work. Are you going to stop me? Because the mayor's going to come in. The mayor, I golf with the mayor every weekend. So what do? You use the second part, and that is you order scaffolding. Because the scaffolding allows you to mothball the fire escape and do what? Continue with the project. But now you need to resolve this issue. Because now he's got to block all means of egress to the fire escape. He's got to block the fire escape from the outside so firemen don't get on it. And then he's going to use the scaffolding temporarily, but how's he going to close out his project? He's going to do the fire escape last. One way or another, he's in the system. So remember, you're going to pull the OSHA card on every high-rise, mid-rise, and low-rise that you ever deal with. If they're doing any alterations, you say, hey, where's your certificate for your fire escape? So this is part of a checklist. Got it? So 1910.37, and again, don't stop the project. Use it wisely because it's telling you not to stop it. It's giving you the authority to order scaffolding, which is a certified fire escape system in the meantime. So this is your way in on a lot of these projects, and this is what it would look like. So if the fire escapers need repair, what do you set up? The fire escape is on the back somewhere, so what do? Just set it up. And it's full, 3 foot wide, 7-Eleven rise and run, with rails, all the way to the ground, with doors and locks and all those things. Because this is a professional company that puts this up, not the contractor. So pick one, fix your fire escape, or within 3 days, I'd like to see this up, but you need to continue. In the meantime, while you're waiting for your scaffolding to arise, fire prevention is going to come down here. They're probably going to order a fire watch until the scaffolding is up. Everybody clear on that? That's a nice card to pull out so you don't piss off a lot of people, because you will. Load testing. This is what load testing looks like, guys. That's when you get good, strong boys and men, and you get a couple of 1,000 pounds of sandbags, 50 pounds apiece, and you measure before and you measure afterwards. And if you're going to put 1,000 pounds down, you got to put 400 pounds down, measure before and after time. And then you load the other 600 and you measure before, during, and after time. And then you have to load it all from the top so you can just keep cascading the bags down to the ground. Oh, it's a lovely way to make money on a hot day. And the bags fall because when you're going down the stairs, you know, sandbags don't stack very nicely unless you're crossing them, and so you got tumbling, cascading sandbags falling everywhere. They hit a sharp edge, you got sand falling everywhere. Oh,
so now we're loading onto a stair, and we're doing a concentrated load.
Oh, by the
of
way,
every other tread.
is this
200
dangerous?
pounds.
Should this thing want to let go?
Sure.
Hey Tom, he's about
So, do you
starting.
think we want a load
Note
test?
That the staircase is starting. What time?
So that's why it has to pass a pre-load test evaluation. What you have in front of you is a pre-load test evaluation. We don't load test anything that we don't guarantee that it's going to pass, to the best of our knowledge and information. You know what I'm saying the load testing is very dangerous. At any time, something stupid could happen, and all these guys with a bag, the straw that broke the camel's back. Well, we're carrying 50-pound straws, plus our own weight. So load testing can also be done by cables. So this 3,000 pounds exerted, using a live load cell, dude, it's crazy. That one we did in California, not only did we fully refurb the entire fire escape, he still wanted it to be load tested. I said, dude, you don't have to, you did this. No, I got a lot of money, I want to give you a lot of money, I want you to fix it all, but I want you to also load test it. So we started measuring, tabling, lifting, right? Lifting weight, we used the back end of a truck to basically exert. 10 stories up, we ran cables through, so you were exerting. So you can put your weight at the top, or you can put the weight at the bottom. So 2,000 pounds on the ground, when you transfer it through a cable to the very top, you can exert 2,000 by lifting the piece off the ground, or keep 3,000 on the ground and only exerting 2. So there's many ways to skin a cat, but this is some of the ideas you want to have, okay? This is how you deal with fire department, building department, and so on. It's just some ideas. Ready? Fire prevention. When you do your smoke detector sign off, okay? So write this down on the back of some page, and then we're going to end up on the confidence test last. Ready? If I'm doing a fire detector, a smoke detector sign off, isn't that just inches away from them taking possession of the building? And you ask for a copy of the fire escape affidavit. You're not going to stop them from getting into the building, because if they don't have a copy of the affidavit, what do? You stop them from occupying the building? Because this is kind of a surprise to them. It just does nothing but trigger a request for in the next 30 days, provide us one. Otherwise, I will come back and shut your building down. So don't stop the money train. But at the smoke detector sign off, when you get a sprinkler, the sprinkler companies, involve these sprinkler companies to come in. When they're doing a yearly test on sprinklers and there's a fire escape on the building, where do you run when the sprinklers go off? To the fire escape. So ask the sprinkler companies to have a copy of the fire escape affidavit. So they're not doing the fire escape affidavit, they're asking for a copy from the owner. I need to submit this, and with all sprinkler tests, I have to add a copy of the fire escape affidavit. And if it's good for 5 years, they can just keep a copy of it until, and so they'll start reminding the owners that the sprinkler, so piggyback. How about yearly inspections? You're walking in, you're just asking for a copy, you're not ordering one. Hey, where's your copy of your elevator certificate, your sprinkler certificate? Just add it to a checklist. How about the second means of egress confirmation? Sometimes you're doing a safe structures initiative. I don't know if you guys have that, but you have some programs out there that are called safe structures. You look for a lot of different things on one building. During your pre-plans, add second means of egress confirmation. If it's an external, where's your certificate? No task force needed. These will come in dribbles. They'll just come in on all by themselves. As people are trying to complete other things, you put a tail on the donkey, and then they'll drag that tail with them. Building departments, when they're pulling permits, what's the first thing he asks when he's getting all these permits? So that he's going to use OSHA as his main reason. He said, hey, I'm going to issue this demolition permit, I'm going to issue this alteration permit. What do we need? As part of I need to know your architect, I need plans, I need this, I need that. By the way, what else I need? I need a copy of the certification, or are you going to use scaffolding? Okay, what are you talking about? Because I know this building has a fire escape. You have a certificate, or are you going to use scaffolding? No, we're just going to use a fire escape. Hey, yeah, but it's not certified. So pick one, get that thing certified immediately, or give me my scaffolding. Either way, I want to find out what's going on. Okay, that'll get them moving quick. OSHA. Certificates of occupancies, you guys have those going on? Re-rents and stuff like that? So tag those into the re-rentals. New ownership, you guys do whole new certificates of occupancy and stuff like that? So bring that in. How about HUD and housing? When it's HUD money, you can't basically tie in with any HUD housing unless you have 2 means of egress certified. So a lot of times the HUD deals a lot with residential 2 and 3 families. So that's how you're gonna get to the 2 and 3 family market, is by having your housing inspectors ask for a certificate. How about health department? Health department every now and then kicks somebody else because of a health issue, mold, cockroaches, whatever. When they're going back in, what do they ask for? Confirmation of a safe structure, which means second means of egress. Right? That's all they're saying. Hi, I'm going to put you back in this building. Yeah, the mold's been resolved. But before I can let you in, let me make sure you have 2 means of egress. So, you want to call this a fire escape program, or you want to call it a Safe Structures Initiative? You better rename this cat, because you call it fire escapes, it's the bastard child of egress. Nobody wants to hear that word. So rename it. This is a Safe Structures Initiative. We want to find every fire escape in the city, and we want to put a tag on it. Well, what kind of tag? If they want a white tag, they have to have it inspected professionally. Otherwise, we're going to put a yellow tag on it. So every time we're out and around with our trucks and doing pre-plans, we're going to see if the fire escape has nothing dangling, it'll get a yellow that needs to convert to a white. If any of our inspectors happen to be around and they see a dangling tread, it gets a red. A red, immediately the fire and the building department are going to get involved in the situation to get rid of all the reds. That's called the Safe Structures Initiative. You're trying to identify the second means of egress throughout the whole city. And you have a 3 to 5 year program. And you're going to start off nice and slow because you're going to get a lot of kickback. But in order to start a grass fire, what do you need? Just a match. And then you just need to sit there and fan it for a while. Because if you're trying to, burn the trees down, you get that fire going enough, she'll burn down a forest with a grass fire. All right, so now let's talk about the time check.
Yeah, we're past
What time is it?
1:35.
Oh, so I'll give you the 5-minute spiel on the confidence test. Pull out your confidence test, and then we're done. I'll stick around if anybody wants to speak with me directly. Guys, when you read each one of these questions, you'll understand that there's never been a questionnaire on a fire escape ever in the U.S. Got it? So if there's never been a questionnaire, you can understand why fire escapes have gotten away with murder. Okay? So with that, let's talk about what kind of information you're going to get. Ready? Right at the top, you're going to get to know who the inspector is and those licenses and his expiration dates. That's important to you. Any violation numbers. In the middle, the next box down tells you who owns the building, but also who manages the building. And in the middle, we have to draw a little rectangle, a little box, and put another box onto that telling you is the fire escape on the back, the side, or the front. Put a little X in it. That's going to help you. Down below, we need the professional information of the professional person. Okay. The next one, if there was a repairs done to it, we want to know who the repair company is and the permit number. We want to know the next one in the gray box that says, is this a pass-fail or is this a technical report? Because pass-fails may be your first initiative. You may say, you know what? We just want to make sure that we're not looking for a certification. We want somebody to go out and at least say to us that the fire escape looks like it's ready for its intended use, but it does need maintenance. But this is not a certification at this time. We're just trying to identify all the reds first. So you send everybody out on a quick pre-load test evaluation that says, we found some problems, but we're not certifying at this time. We just want to make sure there's nothing dangling. So that's called a pre-load test evaluation. The structure can be looked at by walking on it, or the structure can be looked at from the ground. Usually when it's looked at from the ground, it's because you can't get on it. And not because there's a key issue, it's because it's dangerous. There's dangling stuff. That important for you? We want to now come down to the results. We want to say that it passed or failed, and is there any life safety issues? Because you want on page 1 to be told immediately if you have a life safety concern. There's 3 ways to certify a fire escape: by load test, other evidence of strength, opinion affidavit with a strong disclaimer of liability saying we performed no load test. So this is that pass-fail, you understand? Where the owner takes all the responsibility in the meantime over this next 3 to 5 years. But in 5 years' time, you may say to them, I want a load test in 5 years. Get your pennies together. Because between now and then, you're taking full responsibility for your own building, not the city, not the inspector. And then the final one just says that the fire escape failed because it either needed paint or structure. Right? We're going to put your code in the middle. Look at the very bottom. It needs to be signed by the inspector. And if you're going to take this as a certificate, we can't accept your certificate unless you sign off on it and put it into your files because you signed on it and accepted it and went to the site yourself. You guys need to go back and look at every fire escape. Even if the engineer has signed off on it, you must go back and accept it that way. Because I'll tell you, there's still some stamp whores out there giving you, toilet paper for certifications. See, question number 2. When you look at each one of these questions, they answer every specific question about, is it built to standard? Is there any questions you guys have to ask me? All the components of a fire escape: treads, rails, supports, stringers, clips, tops and bottoms, supports, through bolts, foundations, sonotubes. It's all, every question is on there. All the way to the next question, which is the number 1, you end up on number 25. Talks about paint, it talks about obstruction, fire, flammables. It talks, every single one of these questions, an engineer has to give you this questionnaire back. And you think he did a good job when he signs his name to this and seals his stamp on this? Because he's taking all the liability, because he's answering yes, no's. Can he play with it to the best of my information, knowledge, and belief? Can he play with that if he's answering yes, no's? And as soon as an engineer tells you, I'm not signing this document, what's happening? What can you pull out of your back pocket that I told you guys have? Load test. They give you any stink about this, because that's their job. They're getting paid thousands of dollars to fill out this form correctly, to save the lives of the tenants and the firemen, and say, well, I'm not going to sign that because, they say, hey, then let's just load test this baby. Let me know what day that is, because I want to see them. How many guys you bringing to drag around little sandbags, man? I'm going to get a lounge chair, a nice cool drink, and I'm just going to watch this monkey show all day long. And by the way, before you order the load test, I want to know how much it's going to cost. I can tell the owner the day before, why are you spending $12,000 in load testing when those same $12,000 will buy you a lot of paint and a lot of bolts? So what would you use $12,000 for? Sandbags or bolts and paint? Got it? So you're going to make that engineer look silly, because he should be fighting for other evidence of strength, not load test. You pulled that card because you called his bluff. Okay, question number 25 is the catch-all. If they happen to be doing something weird with that fire escape, that's the question. That's where you would put a weird situation. He's got a chicken coop underneath the fire escape. You know what I'm saying? The next page is all the frequently asked questions, and if there's any special terms and conditions that you give us, we're supposed to write it on this page and the next page. If you read that, that tells us what your city wants in specific ways. And so you'll take a pass-fail report to start the initiative, but only to find out if there's a technical report coming, because you may not need a permit as it states in a lot of the codes, but you definitely need oversight to watch that. So your permit may not be a document from the city. Your permit may be the engineer who's going to be watching that for 3 visits. Let's take a look at the very last page. This is a vendor sheet. Now, you think engineers don't want to fill out sheets? Guess who doesn't want to fill this sheet out? The welding witch doctors. Why? Because there's $3,000, $13,000, $33,000 fees coming for fixing a fire escape, right? So what's that mean? The welding witch doctors, usually one-man operations, no workers' comp, no liability. They want to light up the welding machine. They want to be out of there in one day and make $1,000 to $2,000, and they'll be done. The $13,000 guys are going to be your ornamental iron workers. You know what I'm saying? They usually have 3 to 5 guys. Most of the time, they do have workers' comp and liability, and they do have the ability to pull a permit. But they need somebody watching them, because a lot of them are ex-welding witch doctors who come over to work for them because they can't make it, with a welding machine on the back of their truck. The $33,000 guys are usually the commercial grade guys who do a lot of this work, where they usually do 5 and 10 stories. They have all the insurances, they have all the requirements. They offer the 15 to 25-year warranty, structural warranty, guaranteeing it's going to pass for the next 15 years. Or they'll fix it for free. So those are the guys that this is all they do. But a lot of times when they play in the residential side of things, 33 versus 13, guess who's going to win the contract? It's going to be the 13. So what happens is you need an engineer watching the 13s to make sure they can get the job done. Because the engineer watches the 33s, the engineer watches the 13s. Takes a little longer on this side, because these guys are going to try to do welding witch doctor stuff. But this engineer up here, he will not let a welding witch doctor show up, because he'll know, because he won't fill out this page. And when the owner says, I don't care, I'm going to use my cousin Louie, he's going to do this job, what's the engineer do? No, he calls you and says, I have to extract myself because when he sends you the technical report, which is this document similar, so you guys can get a mixed bag of all the great stuff in the country. Just ask us, we'll tell you where mistakes have been made and where there's still holes in the system. And it says right here that if an engineer stamps this, he's got to send all this technical report. He's going to watch that baby for you. So what's that mean? As soon as somebody brings in a welding witch doctor, and this is what I've been charged with as a design professional, as soon as I get nobody following the orders and I start to sign off on it, I'm in charge of watching it, which is quality control, construction control document, whether it's residential or commercial. As soon as I'm out of this, what do? I send you a letter saying, hey, and as soon as you get this, I'm no longer involved in this case, because he's trying to bring in, his Uncle Luigi, the welding witch doctor, then you're gonna go deal with the owner directly. I don't like that guy, he's too expensive, he's too nitpicking. Okay, then find me somebody else just like him. Because, yeah, but I want to use my Uncle Louie. Well, you have used your Uncle Louie for 75 years. But the rules have changed. That's the end of the show. If you have any questions, I try to leave a little time at the end for questions, but I'll be here as long as you guys want. If you have any questions on how to get to the next level? Because that's the end. You guys can get up and run, throw things at me, or run me out of town. So if you have any questions, come on. If you have any cards you want to give us, and if you want to start a program in your city, like I said, it's free, and we got a local boy that'll come out and talk to you about it. Start in your downtown. That's where it starts. Start with the commercial. The residential will take care of itself. Commercials, they know how to make money and spend a little money to get their things up nice and safe.
Let me take your contact.
I'll give you, that one's not sooner. Or you could put yours.
I'd love to.
Both of those.
6 hour work, 6 hour piece, sure. Yeah.